Hey there, this lesson is on volume within our Unit 8 Shapes and Measurement unit. So we will find the volume of prisms and cylinders. So first we're going to look at the volume of a rectangular prism. So make sure that you understand that a rectangular prism looks like this, and it has a base of a rectangle. That's how we know that it's a rectangular prism, because the base is a rectangle, and right here it's being labeled that this is the base. It looks like a rectangle. And to find the volume of it, really what we're doing is we're finding the area of the base, which is the length times the width, or the base times the height, times the height. So when it says volume equals capital B times H, the capital B means the area of the base times the height, or which we probably want to remember it as length times width times height. So make sure you have that formula written down. And if you think of this rectangular prism right here, and then you think like the height is 2, and so you think that the bottom, and we can see that it's a length and a width of 6 and 6, so the bottom layer has 6 by 6 cubes, and then there's another layer that has another 6 by 6 cubes. So that's why we're doing 6 times 6 times, so 6 times 6 here, times 2, because there's a second layer. So to find the volume of the rectangular prism, it is pretty basic. We are literally finding the length times the width times the height. Okay, if this is my base right here, I know that it's 5 is my width, and the height would be 3, because it's over here, would be the same, and then times the height. So I'm literally doing 3 times 9.5 times 5. I know 3 times 5 is 15, so I can just do 15 times 9.5, and I get volume equals 142.5 meters. And then the thing you have to remember about volume is that it's cubed, because it is 3D, so then it's going to be 142.5 meters cubed. Okay, a movie theater serves popcorn in 2 different container sizes. Which container holds more popcorn? So we're going to find the volume of each of the boxes, which are both rectangular prisms. So again, we're going to find the volume of each, which is going to be length times width times height. So box A is going to be 3.5 times 3.5, because we have 3.5 times 3.5 times 5. So if I do 3.5 times 3.5 times 5, I get a volume of 61.25 inches, cubed. And then if we look at box B, we're going to have 4.5, 4, and 4. So my volume is going to be 4.5 times 4 times 4. 4 times 4 is 16. So if I do 16 times 4.5, I get my volume is 72 inches cubed, not squared. And it says which container holds more popcorn. So this one has more volume, which means that this one holds more. So we would want to pick box B. And then if we look at the volume of a triangular prism, so a triangular prism is also a 3D figure, and that means that the base has a triangle. So if we are looking here at the base on the bottom, where I'm kind of drawing my red line right here, the base is a triangle, okay? Or if we look over here, my base is a triangle, and then you can see the sides kind of make up rectangles. So to find the volume of a triangular prism, we have to find the area of the base, which that capital B means the area of the base, times the height. So we're going to write it as that, but we're going to have to remember that we actually have to use the area of a triangle and then times it by the height. So let's look at this one. So I know it's a triangular prism because this is my base and it's a triangle, okay? So first we're going to find the area of the base, and then we're going to times it by the height, which is 9. So remember So let's actually just write it as volume. But remember, the area of a triangle is 1/2 times the base times the height. I know I'm saying base a couple times here, but like the base of the base is 8. And there's the height of the base. And then let's just put that in parentheses because we know that that's the area of the base, and then we're going to times it by the height, which is 9. Okay? So I know that 1/2 of 8 is 4 times 6 is 24. And then do that, multiply that times 9. So then the volume is going to be 216 feet cubed. Okay, if you feel comfortable and want to pause and try this one on your own, that'd be awesome. And then you can come back and check. But I can see that this right here is my base. Here's the base of my base, and here's the height of my base. And then this is the actual height of the triangular prism. So my volume is going to be 1/2 times 3 times 6, and then we're going to times it by 5.2. 1/2 of 3, or if I do if I do 1/2 of 6, I get 3 times 3 is 9. So the volume is going to be 9 times 5.2, which is 46 8/10 millimeters cubed. And then the last thing we want to be able to find the volume of is a cylinder. So a cylinder has a base of a circle, and it's a 3D spherical shape. So what we do for the volume of a cylinder is similar to what we do for the rectangular and triangular prisms, but we have to find the area of the base and then times it by the height. So the volume is going to be pi r squared times the height. And you remember that's the area of a circle, and then we times it by the height. Okay, so make sure you have all of the formulas written down, and I would have a picture of all of the prisms and the cylinders labeled with the height and the radius and the formula and all that. So now let's find the volume of the cylinders. So if we are looking at this one, the 5 is pointing to the top of it's pointing to the base, okay? The 5 is representing the radius of the base. So the volume is going to be pi r squared times the height. So we use 3.14. My radius is 5. We square it times the height, which is 8.3. Okay, now let's put that whole thing in our calculator. You do this with me to make sure you put it in correctly. 3.14 times 5 squared. So you can I would do times 5 and then do that x squared button times 8.3. And you should get 651 55/100. We'll leave it as that, centimeters, and its volume, so it's cubed. If you did not get that, then you need to re-put that into your calculator. And then this one, so we have 2.4. So here's our base. Here, by the way, this was our base that we were talking about on that first one. So here's our base on this one. The radius is 2.4 and the height of the cylinder is 9. So the volume is pi r squared times the height. So 3.14 times 2.4 squared times 9. So 3.14 times 2.4 squared times 9. You should have gotten 162.7776. So we're going to round up to 162 78/100 meters cubed. And then lastly, a can of peas has a diameter of 2.5 inches and a height of 5.2 inches. What is the volume of the can of peas? The can tells me that it's a cylinder. I'm not a good drawer, but if I draw it kind of like that, okay, a diameter on the top going across is going to be 2.5 inches. And the height is 5.2 inches. I would say with any word problem or anything like this to draw a picture so that you can picture it and go from there. So if this is the diameter, Then the radius is half of the diameter, remember, so the radius is going to be 1.25 inches. And now we can find the volume. 3.14 times 1.25 squared times 5.2. So let's put that all in. 3.14 times 1.25 squared times 5.2 is going to round to 25 and 51/100 inches cubed. That's all I got. Have a good day.